Hello everyone, I am Dr. Wajid Shabir with another video on ECG. This is the ECG which we are going to discuss today. But before the discussion, as always, pause your videos, note down the findings and diagnosis with yourself, and at the end of the video, compare your findings and diagnosis with the discussion done in this video. So let's begin the discussion on this ECG. As you know, the first thing which we look at on an ECG is rhythm. For rhythm, we look at rhythm strip, which is a long lead at the bottom of the ECG. As you can see that in this rhythm strip, there are upright and prominent P waves before each QRS complex. The presence of upright and prominent P waves means that this is a sinus rhythm. After the rhythm, the next thing is heart rate. For heart rate, we will select a QRS complex which lies on a broad vertical line like this QRS complex. And now between this QRS complex and next QRS complex, the large boxes are counted as 300, 150, 100 and 75. As you can see that the heart rate in this case is just below 75 and it is almost 70 beats per minute. So next is the determination of axis. For axis we look at the direction of QRS complex in lead 1 and lead AVF. In case of lead 1, the QRS complex is positive. Also in lead AVF, the QRS is positive. So both positive QRS complexes in lead 1 and AVF means that this is our normal axis. Next we will look at the PR interval. As you can see that the PR interval in this case is within normal limits. That is, it is more than 120 millisecond while it is less than 200 millisecond or 5 small scales. After PR interval, we look at the QRS complex. We can note that the duration of QRS complex is within normal limits and it is less than 120 millisecond. Similarly, in chest leads, the progression of R wave is normal. Next is ST segment. We can note down that there are no ST segment elevation or depression on these leads. However, we can note that there are T wave inversions in lead V2. Presence of T wave inversion in solitary leads are usually non-specific. After ST segment and T waves, the next is QT interval. As you can see in lead V6 that the QT interval appears prolonged. It is around 200, 400 and around 440 millisecond. The 440 millisecond QT interval will be normal in case of heart rate that is exactly 60 beats per minute. But for a heart rate which is more than 60 beats per minute and less than 100 beats per minute, we will calculate QTC, that is corrected QT interval, by using Bazet formula. Bazet formula is QTC is equal to QT divided by under root RR. So we have a QT interval of 440 millisecond, or when we convert into second it will be 0.44 seconds. While the duration between two R waves is around 200, 400, 600 and 800 milliseconds. and we'll convert it into seconds, which is 0.8 seconds. So QTC will be is equal to 0.44 divided by under root zero point 0.8, which is equal to 0.491. So the QTC is equal to 491 millisecond in this case. Prolonged QT interval can lead to fatal arrhythmia. So we must find out the underlying cause for the prolonged QT interval, and if it is treatable, we should treat it to avoid any arrhythmia. As you know, there are multiple reasons for a prolonged QT interval, which include congenital long QT syndrome. QT interval can be prolonged in the presence of electrolyte abnormalities, which include hypokalemia, hypocalcemia, hypomagnesemia. Similarly, there are multiple drugs which can cause prolongation of QT intervals. For example, antihistamines and macrolide antibiotics. Similarly, beta blockers like sotalol can cause prolongation of QT interval. There are certain features on ECG which can help differentiate the presence of or the underlying etiology of long QT interval. For example, in case of hypokalemia, we usually find U waves. Similarly, in case of drugs toxicity like quinidine or sotalol, there are wide and flat T waves. In case of hypocalcemia, the T waves are normal, but the ST segment is stretched out or it is prolonged. As in this case, we can see that the ST segment is prolonged, which is causing a QT interval of 490 milliseconds. So the most likely cause of prolonged QT interval in this case is hypocalcemia. So in this particular case, the lab workup showed a low calcium of 8.2, this which was causing prolonged QT interval. It was corrected and there was no further complication. So this is all for today. Hopefully you like the video. For more videos, kindly subscribe to this channel and stay tuned. Till next video, Allah Hafiz and take care.